Good morning or good evening, depending on when you're watching this, but either way, I'm glad you're here because today we're talking about something that might just save your life. We often go about our mornings on autopilot, right? Brushing our teeth, washing our faces, maybe scrolling a little before the day takes off. And we don't always pay close attention to what our bodies are trying to tell us. But those quiet early hours can be the most honest moments your body has. It's not distracted, it's not warmed up yet, and it's definitely not trying to hide anything. That's why, in this video, we're going to dive deep into 5 warning signs of cancer that tend to show up right when you wake up. These signs aren't always loud or painful. They don't necessarily stop you in your tracks, but they do whisper, and if you learn to hear them, you may just catch something in time. This isn't about creating fear. This is about tuning in. And by the end of this video, you're going to feel more aware, more prepared, and hopefully more empowered to take better care of yourself or someone you love. Let's get started. Sign number 1, unexplained fatigue that greets you first thing in the morning. Now let's talk about this because most people think being tired in the morning is normal, and sometimes it is. You stayed up late, had a rough night, or didn't sleep deeply. Fine, we all have those days, but I'm talking about a different kind of tired. The kind that feels like someone drained your battery while you slept. You open your eyes and instead of feeling like the rest helped, you feel heavier, slower, like your body's working against you. It's not just about being sleepy, it's about having no fuel in the tank, even after a full night's rest. That kind of fatigue, when it sticks around for weeks with no clear cause, can be a warning. Take Joyce, 69. She always prided herself on waking up early, going for a walk before breakfast. But then it changed. She started sleeping 9-10 hours and still dragging herself out of bed. She thought maybe it was just aging, but her daughter noticed it too. A blood test later revealed low red blood cell counts. Further testing showed early-stage colon cancer. She had no pain, no bleeding, just that strange, unshakable fatigue. The good news is she caught it in time. That morning, exhaustion was her body waving a little red flag. Now, does fatigue always mean cancer? No, of course not. But if it's persistent, if it doesn't improve with rest, and especially if it's new and unexplained, it's worth asking your doctor to take a closer look. Because cancer doesn't always make a dramatic entrance. Sometimes it just slowly takes the energy from your mornings. And by the time you notice, it's already made itself comfortable. Listen to your mornings, they're telling you something. All right, let's move on. Sign number 2. Night sweats and unexplained chills that disrupt your sleep and greet you at sunrise. Now listen, everyone sweats sometimes, especially during hot weather or after spicy food, or maybe you've got extra blankets on. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about the kind of night sweats that soak through your clothes or your sheets, the kind where you wake up drenched, even though the room is cool. You sit up, peel the blankets off, and wonder what just happened. That's your body trying to tell you something's off. And when these episodes come with no infection, no fever, no clear reason, that's when it's time to pay attention. Sometimes these can be signs of hormonal shifts, yes, but they can also point to cancers like lymphoma, leukemia, or even certain solid tumors. Now picture Thomas, 74. He never thought twice about his sleep until he started waking up cold, wet, and confused. At first, he blamed his old thermostat, then thought maybe it was his diet, but the sweats kept happening. Eventually, his wife insisted he get checked. Tests revealed early-stage lymphoma. He never had a lump, no pain, no fever, just those night sweats, and catching it early made all the difference. These aren't always easy symptoms to talk about, and let's be honest, sometimes we feel embarrassed or think we're overreacting. But if your body is doing something new, something unusual, and it keeps happening, especially first thing in the morning, it deserves your attention. That includes chills that come without warning or drenching sweats that leave you feeling cold and drained. These are not random. These are clues. So the next time you wake up and notice your pajamas are soaked for no good reason, or you feel like you just stepped out of a cold shower, don't brush it off. Keep track, write it down, and if it continues, call your doctor. It could be the earliest chance to catch something serious while it's still manageable. Sign number 3 is persistent morning nausea or an upset stomach that doesn't have a clear explanation. We all know what it's like to feel a little queasy once in a while. Maybe you ate something that didn't sit right, maybe stress or medications played a role, but when you're waking up day after day with that same uneasy feeling in your stomach and you haven't changed your diet or lifestyle, that's when it becomes concerning. Your body is trying to speak, and nausea, especially in the morning, isn't something to just ignore. It can be linked to various types of cancer, particularly cancers of the digestive system, pancreas, liver, or even the brain, depending on how your body reacts. Take the story of Helen, 68, who started waking up each morning feeling like she was seasick, her appetite dropped, and coffee, which she once loved, started making her gag. Her doctor first thought it was acid reflux, then maybe gallstones, but when her symptoms stuck around and blood work showed abnormalities, scans revealed a pancreatic mass, small but definitely there. It was caught early, which gave her options, and she's now doing well, all because she didn't ignore that strange pattern in her mornings. See, nausea can be tricky because it's easy to blame it on simple things, and sometimes that's all it is. But if it keeps coming back, if it lingers or grows stronger, and especially if it shows up like clockwork in the morning, you've got to wonder why. Our bodies are incredibly consistent, and cancer is sneaky. It'll keep repeating the same small signals until you finally stop and pay attention. Maybe you're waking up every morning and thinking it's stress or an empty stomach, but if it happens even after you've eaten well the day before, if water makes you feel sick, or if you're losing weight without trying, these are not signs to brush off. One woman even described it as waking up with a brick in her stomach every day, like her body was trying to stop her from starting the day. And guess what? It was early-stage liver cancer. So don't silence your symptoms just because they're not screaming. Sometimes a whisper is all the warning you get. Pay attention, especially if the pattern continues for more than a couple of weeks. All right, let's talk about sign number 4, which is unexpected pain in the bones or joints that greets you right when you wake up. Now, this one is especially important because we often chalk it up to aging, right? Sore knees, stiff hips, maybe a little backache. It all sounds normal when you hit a certain age. But here's the difference. Normal stiffness tends to loosen up once you've moved around a bit. It fades as your body wakes up, but pain caused by something more serious doesn't fade. In fact, it can get worse in the morning. We're talking about deep, nagging pain that doesn't go away with rest or even sleep, and sometimes gets worse overnight. For some cancers like bone cancer or blood cancers like multiple myeloma, pain can become one of the earliest signs, especially when it shows up in your spine, pelvis, or ribs. Let me share the story of Robert, 72. He was always active, a retired gym teacher who still loved stretching in the morning, but then he started waking up with sharp pain in his lower back, not soreness, pain. It didn't respond to heating pads, it didn't improve with massage, and after 3 weeks of worsening discomfort, he went to the doctor. Scans revealed lesions on his spine, tied to a rare form of bone cancer. He had no other symptoms, no weight loss, no fatigue, no fever, just that persistent pain in the morning. And that's what saved him. He didn't wait for other symptoms to show up. You've got to trust yourself when your pain feels different. Yes, we all ache a little more with age, but when it's new, sharp, deep, and refuses to go away, especially if it's worse when you wake up, that's when you need to pause and ask some hard questions. Is it getting worse each morning? Is it isolated to one area? Is it interfering with your ability to move or walk comfortably? These questions matter. You don't have to panic, but you do have to stay alert. Bone pain isn't always caused by injury, and even if you don't remember any trauma or fall, your body might still be fighting something underneath. And look, your mornings are a mirror. They reflect what's happening deep inside before the distractions of the day pull your attention away. So if you notice your joints are aching more than usual, or your back feels like it's locked up every morning, please don't ignore it. It might not be anything serious, but if it is, you'll be glad you caught it before it grew worse. So far, we've covered unexplained fatigue, night sweats or chills, morning nausea, and bone or joint pain that hits you right as you open your eyes. These aren't just inconveniences, they're potential warning signs, and they can all start quietly without drama, without alarms. That's why paying attention to your mornings can make all the difference. But we're not done yet. There's one more sign I want you to know about, and it's one most people overlook entirely. It has nothing to do with pain and everything to do with how you see your reflection in the mirror. We'll talk about that next. Now let's talk about the 5th sign, and this one might surprise you because it's not loud, it's not painful, it's not dramatic, but it's powerful. It's noticing a subtle change in your face when you look in the mirror every morning. I'm not talking about regular aging. I'm not talking about wrinkles or bags under your eyes. I'm talking about a change that's hard to describe but easy to feel. Some people say they just look off, their skin looks dull, maybe a little yellow, maybe a little gray. Others say their eyes don't look the same, like the spark is gone or the whites are turning slightly yellow or cloudy. For some, the cheeks look sunken or the lips appear paler than usual, and these little shifts can be the first visual cue that something's going on inside. Your face, after all, is where your health often shows up first, and the morning mirror is the most honest one you've got. A woman named Carol told me her journey started the day she realized her smile looked tired. Not because she felt sad, but because her face had changed. Her skin had a yellow tint, her lips looked dry and cracked, and her eyes just didn't shine anymore. She felt fine otherwise, but blood tests revealed a problem with her liver, and eventually early-stage bile duct cancer was found. She had no pain, no nausea, just that one clue, the morning mirror. This one's so easy to overlook because life moves fast and we barely stop to notice our own reflection. But here's what you need to understand. When cancer starts affecting your organs, especially your liver or kidneys, it can change the way your skin processes waste, the way blood flows to your face, even the way your eyes look. If your face looks puffier than normal, if your eyelids are swollen every morning, or if you notice a yellowish tone to your skin that wasn't there before, that's not vanity talking. That's your body signaling. Some people even report looking tired no matter how much sleep they got. And the thing is, other people might not notice it at first, but you will, because you're used to your own face. You know what you're supposed to look like. That's why you should never ignore that gut feeling when something looks off. It's not about being dramatic or jumping to conclusions. It's about listening to your own instincts, especially when your reflection is telling you the truth. Let me tell you about James, a 75-year-old retired engineer who noticed that his eyes looked different each morning. Not painful, not blurry, just different. He said the whites were turning slightly yellow and the skin around them looked darker. He figured it was age or maybe just poor lighting, but after 3 weeks, he mentioned it casually during a routine checkup. His doctor took one look and immediately ordered blood work. Turned out his liver enzymes were off the charts. Further tests revealed a tumor in his bile ducts, which thankfully was still operable, and he never would have caught it if he hadn't paid attention to his face. This stuff matters. You don't need to be obsessed with your appearance. You just need to be aware. The skin is the largest organ of your body, and it reacts to stress, illness, and internal imbalance faster than most people think. So if you see a change in your complexion, color, or even the texture of your skin that's new, consistent, and unexplained, don't just shrug it off. It might be the most visible sign of something you can't see. And it's not just the color or the brightness of your skin. Some folks notice changes in facial symmetry, like one eyelid drooping slightly or one side of the mouth feeling a little heavier in the morning. Others see shadows or hollows under the eyes that weren't there before. If you've ruled out poor sleep, if you've ruled out dehydration or diet, and the change is still showing up day after day, your body might be working overtime to fight something, and you just haven't felt it yet. This is why your morning routine is so important. That first look in the mirror before coffee, before makeup, before anything else, it tells you what your body's been doing all night. Has your color changed? Are your eyes dull? Is your skin dry or unusually oily? Is your face retaining fluid or looking deflated? These little things matter. They might not hurt, but they could be hinting at something serious. Don't let the silence of the symptom fool you. Cancer doesn't always scream. Sometimes it whispers through the mirror. So there you have it. The fifth sign isn't something you feel. It's something you see, but only if you're looking. And now we've gone through all 5 morning cancer warning signs. We talked about unexplained fatigue that lingers, night sweats or chills that come without cause, morning nausea that refuses to leave, bone or joint pain that doesn't fade, and changes in your face or skin that you spot in the mirror. These aren't random. These aren't overreactions. These are clues. Clues your body gives you early in the morning when everything is quiet and honest. And the more in tune you are with these patterns, the more likely you are to catch something early when treatment options are wider and outcomes are better. Now stay with me, because in the next section, we're going to pull all this together and talk about what you can do if you've noticed one or more of these signs. So if you've heard one or more of these signs and something clicked inside you, maybe it reminded you of how you've been feeling lately, or maybe you thought about someone you care about. The big question becomes, what now? What do you do next? First thing, don't panic. I mean it. Fear is natural, but it won't serve you here. What you need right now is awareness and action. Start by keeping a log, nothing fancy, just a notebook or even a note in your phone. Write down what you're experiencing. If you've had fatigue for the past few weeks, describe what time it hits, how bad it feels, whether rest helps. If you've had nausea, note whether it happens before or after eating, how long it lasts, what triggers it. If you're sweating at night, jot down how often it happens, how wet the sheets get, whether it's accompanied by chills. Track your pain too, where it is, what time of day it shows up, how long it lasts, what makes it better or worse, and include the mirror signs. Any change in your face, skin, eyes, lips, anything at all, write it down. When you keep track of symptoms over a few weeks, you start to see patterns, and those patterns are what your doctor needs to see. Now, I know some folks hesitate to bring this stuff up to their doctor. They're worried they'll be seen as dramatic, or they don't want to waste anyone's time. But let me tell you something. You are not wasting time by talking about your health. You are taking charge of it. That's what doctors are there for. And when you come in with a clear list of symptoms, dates, changes, and patterns, you make it easier for them to understand the full picture. You're not just saying, I feel tired. You're showing them you've been fatigued every morning for 14 days, despite sleeping 8 hours, and that's not normal for you. That kind of detail helps move the process along faster. It tells your doctor you're paying attention, and they need to pay attention too. And here's the thing. Early signs of cancer often get brushed aside because they're vague, but vague doesn't mean unimportant. Cancer in its early stages doesn't always scream, but it does whisper. And when you bring those whispers into the doctor's office, you give yourself a shot at catching something before it grows louder. And don't let age get in the way of your concern. Some people think, well, I'm getting older. This is just how it is. But no, there's a big difference between normal aging and warning signs. Feeling tired because you stayed up too late, that's normal. Feeling bone pain because you've been active all day, sure, that makes sense. But ongoing fatigue, pain, or nausea with no clear cause, that's not just aging, that's a sign. And too many times older adults get dismissed because people assume everything's just part of the process. That's why you've got to be your own advocate. You've lived in your body for decades. You know what's normal and what's not. Trust that. If something feels different, don't shrug it off. Don't let anyone tell you it's nothing unless they've done the proper checks. You deserve to feel heard. And sometimes the simple act of insisting on being taken seriously can make all the difference in getting the care you need. Now, if your doctor orders tests and everything comes back normal, but you still feel something's off, don't stop there. Keep tracking, keep following up. Ask for second opinions if you need to. Sometimes early cancer signs don't show up on basic blood work. It might take imaging or specialized scans or a referral to a specialist. And yes, it can be frustrating, waiting for answers, going to appointments, pushing through the system, but you have to hold on to the fact that you know your body. Let me tell you about Diana. She's 69, sharp as a tack, and one morning she woke up with pain in her hip that didn't make sense. She hadn't fallen, hadn't twisted anything. She was just sore, and it wouldn't go away. Her primary care thought it was arthritis and told her to rest, but Diana kept asking questions. After 3 weeks of persistence, she got a scan that showed early bone metastasis from an undetected tumor. Because she didn't let it go, she started treatment early. Her voice saved her life. So if something feels off, if one of these 5 signs has shown up and it doesn't go away, speak up. Write it down, talk to your doctor, get the tests, ask the questions. Your life could depend on how seriously you take your symptoms. And I get it, it's scary. The idea of cancer is overwhelming, but ignoring the possibility won't protect you. Facing it might, because here's the truth. Early detection saves lives, and early detection only happens when we notice the signs. Your body's always talking to you, especially in the quiet hours of the morning. Don't ignore those whispers. They're not just noise, they're messages. And the more you listen, the better chance you have of catching something early when you still have options, when you still have time, when your story can change. So as you move forward, remember, you're not just waiting around for something to go wrong, you're actively looking out for your health. Being proactive is not the same as being paranoid. The more you notice, the more you're giving yourself the best shot at staying healthy. And let me reassure you, this isn't about making every little thing seem like a crisis. This is about being aware, paying attention to your body, and taking action when something doesn't feel right. It's about being empowered, not afraid. If you find yourself worrying about one of these signs, talk to your doctor. Even if you feel like you're overreacting, even if you think it's probably nothing, especially if you think it's nothing, have a conversation. Better safe than sorry, right? Now, when we talk about things like fatigue, unexplained pain, and lumps that pop up in the middle of the night, it's easy to jump to conclusions. I get it. We all fear the worst. But remember, these signs don't always mean cancer. It could be something less serious, something totally treatable. But that's why it's so important to act early. Catching something before it's too late can make all the difference in the world. A lump that's been there for 2 weeks may not mean cancer, but it could mean you need to get checked for something like a benign cyst or an infection that could be treated easily with antibiotics. But if you ignore it and it's something more serious, that's when it becomes dangerous. You don't have time to waste. You owe it to yourself and the people who love you to find out sooner rather than later. And it's not just about your physical health. Your mental health matters too. Dealing with uncertainty and worry can take a toll, and it can affect your quality of life. But knowing what's going on, getting those answers, brings peace of mind. Even if the answer isn't what you hope for, knowing means you can act. You can make decisions. You can move forward. Imagine how much easier it is to face a challenge when you know what it is. So don't be afraid to face the truth. The truth, no matter how hard it may seem at first, will always set you on a path to better care, better understanding, and a better chance at recovery. As you think about these 5 signs, don't just stop at awareness. Take action. Make that doctor's appointment. Speak up. Ask questions. Bring your list of symptoms. Get a second opinion if you need it. Trust yourself and the knowledge you've gained today. Your health is in your hands. And by staying aware, by being proactive, you give yourself the best chance at finding out what's going on with your body before it gets too late to do something about it. Early detection is one of the most powerful tools we have in the fight against cancer. And it's something you can do for yourself every day by being mindful and paying attention. Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with a message of encouragement. You are your own best advocate. You've been living in your body for years. You know what feels right and what doesn't. Don't be afraid to listen to those instincts, and don't be afraid to speak up when something doesn't seem quite right. Your body is telling you something, and it's up to you to listen, take action, and make sure you get the care you need. You're not powerless. You are stronger than you think. And by being aware of these signs, by being proactive, you can change your future. You have the power to protect yourself and make sure that if something is wrong, it's caught early. Thank you so much for watching today. Please share what you've learned in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you found this video helpful. Your health matters, and so does your story. Stay aware, stay strong, and we'll see you in the next video.